The silence around the Toronto Blue Jays right now is not the calm of inactivity. It is the kind of quiet you feel just before the ground shifts beneath your feet. The sort of quiet that makes you lean closer to the screen because you can sense something is coming. Reports have begun to drip out, not in loud declarations, but in carefully chosen words and subtle hints. And when you stitch them together, a picture starts to form. This is not business as usual. This is a franchise plotting something ambitious, something bold, and possibly something that could redefine its immediate future. So settle in, because this story has layers, and if you stay with me until the end, the payoff might just change how you see the Blue Jays' entire offseason. And if you enjoy this kind of deep dive coverage, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Blue Jays News, because this is exactly where we live. At the heart of this intrigue is a feeling that the Blue Jays are no longer content with polite conversations and passive interest. They are courting, and they are courting aggressively. Multiple new reports suggest that Toronto has shifted gears, moving from quiet observers to active participants in one of the most fascinating recruitment efforts we have seen in years. It feels almost cinematic, as if the organization has stepped into a different role, one where patience still matters, but persuasion matters more. And central to this entire narrative is one name that refuses to leave the spotlight: Kyle Tucker. When Mitch Bannon began speaking about the situation, it was not just what he said that mattered, but how he said it. There was an undertone, a knowing pause between the lines, that suggested this was more than idle speculation. According to Bannon, the Blue Jays are being, in his words, pretty aggressive in the recruitment aspect of Tucker. That phrase alone should make every Jays fan sit up a little straighter. Aggressive is not a word typically associated with Toronto's behind-the-scenes approach, at least not publicly. Yet here it was, dropped casually, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The conversation really caught fire when attention turned to George Springer. Springer is not known for being loud in these moments. He is not the type to grandstand or parade his intentions across social media. He operates quietly, deliberately, and that is precisely why his recent appearance alongside Kyle Tucker raised eyebrows. According to Bannon, seeing Springer publicly spending time with Tucker, particularly at a golf event, is not normal behavior for him. Springer keeps things low-key, so when he steps into the light like this, it is not accidental. It is intentional, and intention in baseball often speaks louder than words. That golf tournament sighting almost feels symbolic now. Picture it as more than just two players sharing a casual round. Imagine it as a subtle pitch, a shared moment where the lines between competition and camaraderie blur. Springer is not just a teammate in this scenario. He is an ambassador, a living, breathing argument for why Toronto could be the right place for Tucker. And what makes this more compelling is that Springer is apparently not alone in this effort. Reports suggest that multiple Blue Jays players have been involved in quietly nudging, encouraging, and welcoming Tucker into the idea of wearing blue. Social media, often dismissed as noise, suddenly becomes part of the puzzle. Instagram posts, shared moments, familiar faces popping up in unexpected places. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., others within the Jays' orbit, all contributing to what feels like a coordinated, if unofficial, campaign. This is not desperation. This is confidence. It is the confidence of an organization that believes it has something worth selling, and players who believe in that vision enough to put their own reputations behind it. At this point, it is worth pausing to say this clearly. These little things matter. They may not show up on a contract sheet or a salary breakdown, but they shape perception. They create comfort. They plant ideas. And when Bannon emphasizes that this recruitment goes beyond a single golf outing, it reinforces the sense that Toronto understands the human side of free agency. If Tucker ultimately signs elsewhere, it will not be because the Blue Jays failed to try. Then comes the update from Robert Murray, and with it a shift in tone. Murray's report is, on the surface, almost underwhelming. He says they are not close to a signing yet. But in the world of baseball reporting, understatement often hides movement. Murray mentions hearing different things over the last day or so, little wrinkles that he is still trying to confirm. Wrinkles is an interesting word. It suggests complications, yes, but also progress, evolution, a situation that is actively changing shape. The fact that Murray cannot get Tucker across the finish line, yet does not necessarily spell bad news. It tells us this is still a live race. There is movement, even if it is not yet visible from the outside. And given that Murray has repeatedly linked Tucker to the Blue Jays in the past, his comments carry extra weight. If he is hearing things, even vague things, it suggests Toronto remains deeply involved. Of course, there is an undercurrent of anxiety here. Other teams loom like shadows at the edge of the frame. The Mets, with their financial muscle, are always a concern. The idea that another franchise could swoop in at the last moment is enough to make any fan uneasy. But there is also a process of elimination happening, quietly narrowing the field. Reports suggesting the Dodgers are not the destination for Tucker remove one of the most intimidating possibilities. And when you hear that the Yankees are effectively out due to cost, the picture becomes clearer. The Jays, in this context, feel less like outsiders and more like finalists. And that changes everything. It raises the stakes, not just for the front office, but for the players who have already invested emotionally in this recruitment. It is no longer about making an offer. It is about closing. Yet even as the Tucker story dominates, another narrative weaves its way through this off-season drama, and it is one that carries a darker, more uncertain tone. Bo Bichette. Reports have emerged suggesting that Bichette may be nearing a move to the Phillies, following a trail that leads back to familiar faces and trusted relationships. Don Mattingly's presence there adds fuel to the speculation, creating a sense that this could be more than just rumor. If this comes to pass, it would mark the end of an era in Toronto. Bichette has been more than a player. He has been a symbol of the Jays' modern identity. Losing him would hurt, there is no denying that. But context matters. If Bichette is gone and if Tucker arrives, the narrative shifts. It becomes a story of transformation rather than loss, of a team reshaping itself with intent rather than reacting in panic. There is also a strange, uneasy relief in the idea that if Bichette does leave, it is not to a divisional rival like the Yankees or the Red Sox. Baseball rivalries are emotional, and some destinations sting more than others. The Phillies, while formidable, do not carry the same immediate sense of betrayal for Jays fans. Still, it underscores the urgency. Toronto cannot afford half measures. If one cornerstone departs, another must arrive. All of this brings us back to the central theme of this offseason. The Blue Jays are not standing still. They are not waiting for events to happen to them. They are acting, recruiting, and yes, plotting. It may not all work out. Free agency is unpredictable, and even the best-laid plans can unravel. But there is something undeniably exciting about seeing Toronto lean into the chaos rather than shy away from it. As a fan, this is the kind of moment you remember. Not necessarily because of how it ends, but because of how it feels while it is happening. The rumors, the sightings, the cryptic quotes, the sense that something big could drop at any moment. It is the lifeblood of the offseason, and right now, the Blue Jays are right at the center of it. So as we wait for the next update, the next report, the next domino to fall, remember this. Every quiet conversation, every casual meeting, every social media interaction could be part of something larger. The seeds are being planted, and whether they grow into something spectacular remains to be seen. If you want to stay on top of every twist and turn, make sure you are subscribed to Blue Jays News, because we will be here, breaking it all down, every step of the way. And now I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Blue Jays can land Kyle Tucker? Are these recruitment efforts enough, or is there another shoe waiting to drop? And how do you feel about the possibility of Bo Bichette wearing a different uniform? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video if you enjoyed it, share it with fellow Jays fans, and as always, thank you for watching Blue Jays News. The story is far from over.